Hello, folks, and welcome to the Know Better, Be Better podcast, a conversation about health and wellness where we explore various topics to increase our knowledge and understanding in order to grow holistically. I'm Daron Raynor.
And I'm Dani Ondreka. And today we're going to have a discussion on the popular subject of detoxing.
Yes. So we're going to look at a lot of the facts, the myths, and the different things that are associated with it in order to better understand it and better know how we can take care of our health and well-being regarding things like detoxing, right?
Yes. First of all, what a buzzword, detox. You see all sorts of things online, even on commercials, which is terrifying to me that no one has regulated that, about these, 8-day liver cleanses or this juice cleanse or a 5-day detox. And that word is used so often. We're going to get into a little bit about kind of what they mean when they say some of these things and if it's based in fact or not. There's a lot of different places we could take this discussion today, but we're really going to focus on what it looks like in popular culture and is it healthy or is it not?
Yeah, well, speaking of popular culture, I think that segues us into my first question is, why is detoxing so popular?
Oh my gosh, because we like a quick fix. This is America. If we hear, oh my gosh, I can throw away all of my bad habits for the last 5 years with this 5-day cleanse. Wow, doesn't that sound awesome? I don't have to put in all that work to live a healthy lifestyle if I can just detox it all out, with a couple-day juice cleanse or a few-day diet.
That's funny that you say that. So we're trying to alleviate and fix 5 years of what we will call trauma in 5 days. Let's pause and just consider that. Does that really make sense?
It seems kind of ridiculous.
It seems like it, yeah.
Think about your entire life. If you were to look at it as a timeline and you've done X, Y, Z for most of your life. I mean, you can apply that to anything. If you're having issues with any sort of injury, any movement problems, habits that you have, right? Those have accumulated over probably a pretty long period of time. So it's kind of silly to think that we can just throw that all away in a week.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of times we're in this, what we call the microwave generation. We don't want to work hard for what we have, that we desire. And we oftentimes want to reach the goal without the process. And we've talked about this before. It's so important to understand that it took a process to get where you are. And it will probably take a process to get where you want to be, So a lot of people try to do these detoxes or these different types of body cleanses for simple reasons that we all can probably agree on. We want to feel better. We want to lose weight. We want to be able to nix our cravings, right? We want to eliminate some food sensitivities or have a reboot, have it even when I was researching this, they talk about better intimacy.
That's interesting.
As well, which is very interesting. And then also to get to the root of the motivation and move out all the chaos so that we can make better choices. So we're trying to have more of like a clear mind, clear body, all these different types of things, because we know that the body is all interconnected. It's all one unit. But we keep trying to seek a lot of these feel-good factors or a lot of these, what we would deem healthy factors, but we keep chasing after detox.
Right. And that is definitely what we would consider to be a health trend. I don't know that you would go to any good doctor and have them tell you you need to do this kind of cleanse or this kind of detox. Most of it is not based in like scientific or medicinal fact. So it's a trend. Most of the most popular ones, I think right now are for weight loss or for gut health, to replenish your gut. So those seem to be kind of the most talked about right now in the media and in popular culture.
Yeah, I think there's this convincing that is being done of like, you've eaten so much garbage, your body is full of garbage all the way down to like the blood vessel. And you have to pretty much wipe out that whole system. Now, there is a way to wipe it out, and we're going to get to that soon. But the way that they convince you to wipe it out is by taking extremes. And that's one of the issues that we kind of take with the popular trend of detoxes. And that's kind of an issue that we take with a lot of popular trends in society is everything is done in extreme, right? So if it's like, something was done this way, I need to undo it. we go hard on the pendulum and swing in an extreme on the other way, rather than trying to bring ourselves into moderation and homeostasis, right? Or balance in the body.
And the harder we swing to that one side, it's coming back. I think we all have been in that science class, in middle school or in high school, where they showed you, how force is applied in one direction, it's going to come back with that exact same amount of force if nothing else is acting upon it, right? That's a pretty simple rule of thumb. So going from one extreme to another will not cancel out and make you meet in the middle. That math problem does not work, no matter how much you try to make it work.
Yeah, you're especially because you're taking something in that may not be as long lasting, or something that may not be as solid of a foundation. And when you do that, then you're leaving yourself prone to almost double the mistakes that you made to get to where you are trying to get away from,
Yes.
So that's a common thing that we need to be aware of. Usually they fall under the umbrella of like replacing a food with a liquid, or they claim to support the body's natural detox process. Keep that word natural, because we're going to come back to that. It also helps to cleanse the digestive system, or the colon, as we even talked about as well. So you'll see people they'll even go medicinal with it. They'll go and get over-the-counter medications to help clear out their digestive tract. And sometimes that can be a little bit more harm than good,
Yes.
So the question that we're going to ask right here, right now, is detoxing the way to go? And probably by what you're hearing from us in this conversation so far,
we're not big fans.
So according to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, they say this, and I quote, "There have been only a small number of studies on detoxification." So firstly, it's not fully backed by substantial studies. There's only been few. And the programs were done on people. So it says, while some have had positive results on weight and fat loss, insulin resistance, and blood pressure, the studies themselves have been of low quality, with study design problems, few participants, or lack of peer review. And that's a big issue that we kind of come across, is a lot of these are probably studies that were done like, oh, hey, I have an idea on a cleanse. I'm going to have a few of my friends try it out. Let's see how you feel. Let's see how you do it. Boom, we're good. And the issue is, especially when it comes to like, oh, well, it says here that there's been weight loss. Well, when you replace food with liquid and you kind of cut back on the carbs, well, then the body naturally goes into its fat storage and has to burn that off for energy, because fat is energy, for those who don't know. It's just energy that has not been used. So potential energy, one would maybe call it, right? By that, you're not necessarily losing weight or losing body fat because of the juice cleanse. It's more like indirect. It's like the body is doing its natural thing.
Because you're not eating enough.
The body is trying to survive. That's why you're losing weight. It's not so much, oh, wow, we're really enjoying this. We're going to become healthy now. It's like, all right, now we got to kick into survival mode. We got to start going into the storage unit and bring out whatever we can to save ourselves and to prolong our life and well-being.
Yeah, and it's a very important concept to note here, that it might not do that all the time, long term, right? So there are metabolic changes that can happen when you deprive your body of food that it needs to survive. This exact same study even says, because of the low intake of calories, that these programs tended to lead to weight gain once they resumed a normal diet, because you just aren't designed to function with less food than your body needs. It doesn't like it. So it's going to try to hold on to what it needs as much as it can when you start to give it food again. So you can go the opposite direction and actually harm your metabolism instead of making a lasting change, if that kind of makes sense.
Food is your friend.
Yes.
That's a simple way to put it. I kind of think of it like, it's what kind of friends do you have, right? Or what kind of food are you eating? What are you associating yourself with? So when we talk about it in that sense, it's kind of like, well, if I have a group of bad friends, how can I make the best of myself? Oh, I'm just not going to have any friends. Well, now your social health is at risk, and you risk depression or different types of things because you have no company. So rather than just swaying to the other end of the pendulum and like maybe going from food to just juices, we decide we're going to replace it with healthier eating. Instead of having bad friends, why don't we just go and get good friends? It's really that simple, and it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. So food is your friend. What is the company of food that you are keeping? That's a good question to ask yourself.
I think it's also really important to note that these studies have not ever been done long term. So there's already not a lot of study material that's even been done. There's not been a lot of research, but none of them really go past a year either. So you're not really following these people for a long period of time to make sure that they're okay after you've done this detox or this cleanse. So we really don't even understand fully the long-term ramifications that those could have. There was actually this really crazy low-calorie protein shake diet that became popular in the 70s. These people were only consuming these shakes, and it came out to about 400 calories a day that they were consuming, which is very low if we consider, what nutritional guidelines say. They give the normal 2,000 calorie a day diet. As adult human beings, 400 calories is pretty darn low, and 60 people actually died.
Wow.
From this diet. And when they looked at the percentage that maybe had other health issues, some comorbidities, the majority of them were perfectly healthy when they began this diet. So within, several weeks of not getting enough food, major organs started to shut down. And when they continued because of, whatever instruction they were given by the person who had sold them this shake, whatever company was selling it, they thought, wow, okay, some of this discomfort that I'm feeling is because it's working, right? Which is a really scary thing. So the fact that people actually lost their lives, I think, was the scariest thing to me.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy because we see a lot of supplement companies are actually under scrutiny and being sued. There's a lot of popular ones that talk about different types of teas, different types of blends that they have.
Yes.
And a lot of people are suing them because of the adverse health effects that are happening to them. And so this is something to be mindful of as well, is, these quick fixes, because they're extremes, they come with extreme risks.
Yes. We should do a podcast on those shake and tea places.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no sustainability with detoxing. Again, you can't do it for more than a few days to weeks. And oftentimes it's because your body is about to give up that you have to resume your old habits of eating. And a lot of people don't consider that. We just think oh, I did a detox. I feel flushed. I feel no energy. I'm pretty much at my wit's end. So that must mean I'm ready to reset and go forward. When really you just went to an extreme and your body's like, give us something even, to help us be back in regulation.
Yes. So I also think it's a good idea to look at how we define a toxin, because society is telling us we have all of these toxins in our body and we automatically think, oh my gosh, I have all this bad stuff that I have to get rid of. Well, we kind of just believe that because they told us. Mm-hmm. So what do they even look at as a toxin? So most of these cleanses, most of these detox companies aren't even telling you what they're detoxing you from. Yeah. First red flag. So you don't even know what the bad stuff is they're trying to get rid of in your body. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? If we look at conventional medicine, their definition of toxin is just drugs or alcohol, right? That is toxic to your body. All this other stuff that I think we consider in popular culture to be toxic really medicinally is not even considered a toxin. They're normal things that we intake every single day. And detoxing in that regard, if we're thinking about drugs or alcohol, that's typically observed by a medical professional, right? I mean, there are actual, sometimes very serious symptoms as you are detoxing from some of those substances. So that's a really, really big difference there. And there are also literally zero scientific studies backing any of the claims that the companies are making. So they're not doing research to see if their detox is actually working for you. They've not published any studies. They're looking to sell a product to you. So they focus most of their time, most of their energy, most of their money on the marketing side of things, as opposed to the market research side of things, right? Very different.
Yeah. So we're, once again, it seems like Dani has debunked a word to going from a word that is popular use to another buzzword, detox, toxins, And now we've been able to define really what toxins are and even how one manages the toxins. It's done with a healthcare professional. It's usually supervised, it's regulated, it's tried and true, it's been tested, all of these different types of things. That is what worked. And a lot of times those things don't stay forever. You go through your detox phase, maybe from alcohol or drugs, but then you're expected to go into more of like a recovery phase in order to keep progressing yourself to your best self in your wellness journey. You know?
Right.
And that's an issue that a lot of times we have in today's culture and in today's societies. We've taken something that's very serious and we've tried to capitalize on it, where it's just all money and everything has gone into it. The market is just saying, yeah, this is where all the money is. So people are willing to tell you things that are not necessarily safe or favorable to your own health.
Mm-hmm. And we actually asked our dietitians in our department what they thought of even the word detox. And first of all, they looked at us like, please don't try a detox. They were immediately feeling a little bit worried for us. But one of them said something that I just love. She said that detox is a trigger word. She said that's a diet culture word. And that's something that we've essentially made up. We've assigned brand new meaning to it. But I love thinking about that. Like that's a diet culture word.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we use it so loosely and we don't realize that we may be spreading misinformation or contributing to misinformation. And that's what we want to do right here is we're trying to know the best, what's best for us, but also the best route in order to help other people too, because this is such a common thing. There's so many people who are looking to detox. There are so many people who are looking to pick up the quick fix or go on a different type of fast or a trend or a different types of things to be their healthiest self. It's not a problem to want to be the healthiest version of yourself. Mm-hmm. The problem is how we're doing it. And a lot of times we decide to pick up extremes. We pick up things that have not been researched or backed by the FDA. And we pick up other substances even that could be potentially harmful. A lot of these detoxes may have harmful ingredients in them where you think you're removing a toxin, but you're actually, in a way, if we were to use the buzzword, adding toxins,
Right.
You may not be adding alcohol or drugs or things like that, but you're adding chemicals to your body that are usually going to throw off your whole balance and throw off your homeostasis. Now your body has to work harder to get back into its balanced stage.
Especially if we look at the supplement industry contrasted with the pharmaceutical industry. Now, things that are sold by big pharma from pharmaceutical companies, those have been really, really tested, really, really researched. I mean, are they good for you? That's a toss-up, right? That's a conversation between you and your doctor. But if we think about supplements, if we're on the supplement side of things, those things are not regulated by the FDA. So depending on what you're taking and who has manufactured it, where it has come from, we're not even sure that they have completely told you the truth on the label as far as what's in it. So there's a lot of potential for risk there.
And they can tell you anything they want.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
I know that there was if you go to any of your basic convenience stores, like, your Walmarts or different things like that, you can look at different supplements on the shelves. And a lot of the supplements will have like little crosses next to them or little asterisks to tell you this has not been approved or reviewed by the Food and Drug Administration. So they might promise weight loss or instant fat burn, and they'll throw all these buzzwords out there, and they'll throw out different things, but you really don't know what you're actually putting in yourself, especially I try to tell people if you can't pronounce it, it probably doesn't need to go into your body. Let's just keep it simple.
If that ain't the truth. Also, let's just consider that the front of the label lots of times does not match the back of the label. Mm-hmm. Read all of it. Sometimes Absolutely. There are things that are hiding in fine print and you're like, oh, well, I didn't know that was in there.
Right. So with some of these things that we see being a harm from a detox or what, we see popularly, there's other issues that come as well. Like when it comes to doing your juices and combining different types of substances and powders or shakes or teas or whatever the case, it could have harmful bacteria that has not been pasteurized. You can also find that increasing the juice can increase these things called oxalates, which can wind up damaging your kidneys. Fun fact, your kidneys is a natural filtration system in the body. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So you're damaging the thing that is supposed to
filter out the toxins.
So we're going to damage what detoxes us.
That makes no sense.
Let's make it make sense, right? And then we wind up going on diets that are not long lasting, as we talked about. They're incomplete because, simply put, you're not getting the nutrient delivery that is well-rounded and balanced that the body deserves. There is nothing wrong with having like a greens blend drink with your breakfast or something like that. We're not saying don't drink any juice, but what we're saying is to go on an extreme where it's like I cut out everything and I only go on juice. I only do these different types of, I don't know, cayenne pepper and apple juice and lemon or something like that. You know, you're putting your body.
Also eat food.
Yes, you have to eat. Food is your friend. And that's the biggest thing that we're trying to get across is food is your friend. It's the type of company that you're keeping.
Yes.
As we keep talking about, you know. Do
you want to share what one of our dietitians, Jane, thinks about juice cleanses? Because we asked several, you know, what their thoughts were and if they thought it was effective or safe. Do you want to share what she said?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, we call her the famous Jane.
Oh my gosh.
You see her on some of our episodes. She talked about the importance of food and fiber specifically. So a lot of times when we do these detoxes or we go on these different types of juice cleanses, the liquid is just running through us. It's running through our digestive system. And we're not getting the nutrient uptake that is necessary to, one, even filter out the body, but also to keep the body sustained. She said that fiber is your friend as well. Fiber provides a brake, B-R-A-K-E, like a handbrake in a car. And what that does is it helps slow down the process of your digestion. So when your food is moving through your intestines, it's being absorbed much more readily. So you're getting more absorption when you have fiber in your system because it slows down that digestion versus if you decide, oh, I'm just going to go on this juice cleanse or whatever the case may be, you're not getting nutrient delivery. Even if the juice may be the healthiest thing, not enough nutrient delivery. And on top of that, you're also not getting rid of the waste products that are necessary. So you're maintaining issues, but you're also not adding to remove issues. So fiber is your friend. Again, fiber is found in food, not your detox and cleanses. You know,
think about those fruits and vegetables that are actually fibrous, like things like celery, where you can literally see the fibers in it. Like those are things that you need. And another point that can be made here is blood sugar regulation.
Yes.
So when we have that break, right, when we're consuming that fiber, it's going to keep us away from having those really, really extreme highs and lows in our blood sugar, which don't feel good. I think we've all probably experienced a time where we've eaten something that's been really high in sugar and there is that come down that happens afterwards when we crash. So if we're just consuming the juice, just consuming the sugars, even though they're natural sugars, we still need that fiber to prevent those extreme peaks.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember as well that when we talk about like food is your friend and fiber is your friend, this is starting to segue us into what is the best type of reset for the body. I don't even want to use the word cleanse or detox because, as you know, it's just a buzzword. It's more of a fancy way of marketing, capitalizing on people and stuff like that. But what is the best way to bring my body back into balance? Maybe to lose weight, maybe to drop body fat, to make myself feel better again and maintain feeling better. Because we want to do something that is tried and true to become the healthiest version of ourselves, right? So the question that's asked is if it's not any good, how can I reset to be healthy?
So we've got to take care of the body's own natural detox system. And almost every bodily system has a way to detox some kind of something that enters your body. So your skin provides barriers. That's a physical barrier against harmful substances. You do have pores that absorb some things, but your skin does block some things from entering your body. Your respiratory system, inside your ears, your nose, you have small hairs that prevent things from entering the body. But the big ones inside the body are going to be the liver and the kidneys. And those are a very natural filtration system as far as anything that you're ingesting, which is super important. So keeping those healthy is going to be a little bit more bang for your buck instead of just doing some detox to try to fix whatever has already harmed them. So we want to keep those natural filters healthy as much as we possibly can.
So it sounds like the body has already been set up in a natural defense. It already knows how to take care of itself. It knows how to flush out what's bad. It knows how to maintain what's good. There's really nothing that we ourselves have to do. It's what we decide we're going to intake or ingest, right?
Absolutely.
So then the question comes to what should I take? What should I eat? Because we always wanted to know what is that
perfect
one
food
thing, right? What is that one pill or that one food or drink? What is that thing that's going to help me maintain what my body is already doing for me?
I'm sorry that we're not bringing you guys a fast fix. Wouldn't that be so nice if we just told you, you have to eat an avocado every single day and you'll be perfectly healthy and nothing will ever go wrong with your body? That's not real life. Run from those people that tell you that. That's
again,
terrible.
We started this podcast section off talking about how it took 5 years, 10 years, X amount of years to get to where you are in your health journey. Let's say you have been sedentary, you've been eating junk food, you've not been getting enough sleep, you've not been doing the best practices for your body. Well, it's going to, as much as we want to say, oh yeah, just do this in 3 weeks and before you know it, you're going to be back to normal. That's unrealistic, as Dani said. It's important that we realize the importance of, as it took us time to get here, it's going to take time to get away. So how is it going to take time to get away? Look at the habits that you did in getting to where you are. Now we can choose to do opposite things. And It doesn't mean that we do extremes, right? What we're talking about is look at the company of friends you keep, because food is your friend. Make better friends. Choose better foods.
Absolutely.
So if you've been inactive for 5 years, maybe pick up activity. If you haven't gotten good sleep in 5 years, maybe practice better sleep hygiene and sleep habits. But ultimately, when it comes to what we're ingesting, the simple counsel has always rang true and has always been true. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, whole grains, seeds, plenty of water, those types of things are going to be most favorable in trying to get you into balance. And also, it's going to allow you to do it for years to come. There's no stopping point to eating and consuming those things.
Absolutely. And we don't have to recreate the wheel with that either. If you eat out a lot and you have a really hard time getting a full balanced meal on your plate, can you add one vegetable? Can you bring a steamable bag of broccoli or Brussels sprouts with you so you have that ready in addition to whatever you're already eating? Make small changes. I think we need to, again, here we go, we come back to extremes, that we need to change every single thing about our diet and what we do to make these things happen. And it's just not true. We need to stay away from those extremes.
Absolutely. I have a final closing quote here from a physician from the University of Texas, Anderson Center. And he says here, the most important thing you can do to help your body rid itself of toxins is take care of your liver, because the liver is the natural detoxification, if we would call it, system in the body. That means maintaining a healthy diet so this important organ doesn't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
When you take in the right things, the body doesn't have to work as hard. It doesn't have to go through as many extremes to try and bring itself back into balance. You're really just fueling it to function optimally, And that's the thing that we need to really understand and remember is the simple principle is true. Eat healthy, drink plenty of water, get enough sleep, exercise, fresh air, and you can clean the body out that way. You don't have to worry about taking in juices or taking in different types of supplements or different things or teas. Teas are real popular. You don't have to worry about taking those things in and realizing I can't keep this up for another day or two because I'm starving. I'm irritable. My GI tract is not working out well. My stomach hurts, all of these different types of things. And we convince ourselves psychologically that, if it hurts, that means it's working, right? And we don't want to do that. We were made naturally to take care of ourselves. The body knows us better than we do. So let's give it its due, right?
Even one of the studies actually that we read said that lots of extra bowel movements, which we sometimes see as clearing out during a detox diet, could actually mean that your GI system is in distress. So sometimes we think that something is happening that is so good, but really some of those symptoms are your body crying out for help. It's saying, hey, I really don't want this. Can you please help me? Can you give me what I need? And at the end of the day, nature has done it best.
Yeah.
We don't need to try to outdo nature. That's a pride problem. We need to deal with that on our own time. That's a personal issue. But we can't ever do it better than nature has already intended it to be. So use what you have available to you. Don't waste it. You already have it.
Absolutely. Your body is your friend. Be a friend to your body. Your food is your friend. Just make sure you're keeping good company.
I like it. You're good company.
There we go. I'm glad I'm good company. Dani's great company. And with that, we've come to the end of our segment here, talking about detoxing. We hope that you've learned something new. I've certainly learned something new because I came into this not knowing much about detoxing until I realized, oh, keep it simple, silly.
Yes.
That's the best thing for you.
Myself as well. I think this has been a really great conversation, especially when we look at things that are talked about in popular culture.
Yeah.
It's great to contrast the fact with the fiction and really bust some of these myths that are so common in our society today. So thanks everybody for joining us for that short conversation. We really appreciate it.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and close it out. From Kettering Health, I'm Daron Raynor.
And I'm Dani Ondreka. Thanks for joining us today. Be well.